Wow, Danny, what an amazing space you have here.
Yeah, there's a lot of it too. This is the sort of more gallery space where when things are finished down in the studio, we bring them up here to keep them from getting destroyed and actually call them finished. And then we get a chance to light things and see how things look. It's kind of the easel, if you will. Once it's gotten to this stage, you can really look at it and see. And then glass is just a bizarre material when you think of it. This is a very rare optical glass, an incredibly expensive material, very heavy.
It's got lots of bubbles in it.
And we've just melted all of these pieces together, machined and polished it. Glass is incredible because it's a material that throws no shadow. The Romany Gypsy word for glass means sand and light. So it's immaterial material.
Can I try that?
Yeah, go ahead. Whoa!
Amazing.
So this may end up, I think I'm going to turn this into a table and make a lovely piece because...
So you don't know beforehand what it's going to be?
Not really. I mean, I do a lot of creative play. We just try different things. And, things break. I love the way glass breaks. And I'll leave it here to make sure I can really believe in it and support it, like this big smiling crack here that just broke and a piece of marble. Things fused together, morphing material. Yeah. It's very technical glass, and people get very frightened and extremely precious. This is, in fact, one of the smallest things that I make, which is actually a glass bowl, and it spins. You fill it with water, put a rose in it, and I've made not hundreds, but probably about 50 of those over the years. And then a big, large table made out of steel and glass. This is a strange black glass that happened by accident. It sat around the studio for years, and then I've formed it into this table. This is going to a client in the States now.
And is that hammered, or how's that?
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because this has been cut with a hammer. I actually hit it because if you think glass breaks, it's the thing that people are so frightened of. And it's been something that's I've really tried to show that and expose that because it's the nuances, the flaws in things that are so much part of their nature, just like people, really. And then there's a blue version of it. There's a little man. When they first invented water jet, they took this piece of slate and had that water jet cut. Now it's something quite common, easy to do, but this was cut by water jet.
Wow.
Lovely sound. And this is a glass bench. It's kind of like a plank, and we call it Max Planck. And now, for instance, look at that. You can actually, who would think? And so people are quite frightened of glass.
Yeah.
That fear element's very important in it. You see, I think...
Where does fear come into it, do you think?
Well, I think fear is always present, I don't mind fear. Anxiety I'm not so fond of. But fear is actually something that centers you. It brings you into the here and now. It really brings life forces through. Everybody works to cushion life, to avoid things that are slightly scary. Whereas that edge, I think for artists is quite important. Yeah. To work on the edge of your fear.
Were you fearful when you were doing this cast?
You just don't know where it's going, and you could end up wasting a lot of time on material. And these pieces, which is reasonably new work, these are, I call them carved casts because they take big blocks of plaster and cut into them very freely, using an angle grinder, really like a Chinese brush, and gestures, and then put tons of glass on it, melt it in, and hope for the best. And some of them work out, some...
That looks so much more precise.
But, this...
method of...
I do a lot of quite large architectural pieces, and this was a test for something that would go in front of as a divider in a building, something where we have about 30 or 40 of these. And as you can see, because they're Toblerones, they actually have a prismatic value.
Yeah, they capture the light.
They capture the light quite beautifully.
It's behind you. That's different.
And this, again, it's really a drawing, if you will. It's something where we've taken an RSJ, and we've got some very curious toys where we can beat metal. And what a pleasure that is after glass, because working with glass for, half a quarter of a century or whatever, to work into steel. So each of these things, they have a different quality. Glass is very much from the heart up. Steel's much more, got guts of iron. Steel has a whole different feeling. Wood is something different. So all of these materials have a kind of resonance or meaning to people. And it's quite important.
And talking about meaning, what gets you up in the morning when you want to make these?
The alarm bell. No, I just work every day. So basically, I come in, I ride the canal from Maida Vale up here, and then we start. We had 2 or 3 people who we're working with. Of course, during COVID, everything's shut down, so I've been on my own pretty much, so it's quite interesting. But I'll show you out in the yard. Would you like to have a look?
Yeah.
It's very nice out here. That's my little paradise out here. So come and see.